World of Warships. Is it worth a play? Let's read. The highly anticipated World of Warships is the latest free-to-play combat game to be added to Wargaming's catalogue. Command a massive naval fleet featuring history's most iconic war vessels, level up important tech modules, and prepare to dominate the oceans in World of Warships. Yes guys, I'm going to start adding a few more free-to-play games to my library. I have done free-to-play games in the past, such as MechWarrior Online, and today I'm looking at World of Warships, which is in open beta at the moment. So this isn't a full-on review, this is just me telling you whether, in my opinion, it's worth going to the trouble of downloading the game and making an account and playing it. So this is made by the same people that did World of Tanks, that Russian company called Wargaming, who do not under any circumstances make the Russian side overpowered. There was rumours, but no, they don't do anything like that. Well, this takes place during the time of World War I to World War II, and so you've got steamboats and big battleships and aircraft carriers and all of that kind of stuff. And as you'd expect, you've got the three biggest navies on the planet represented in this. You've got the British, you've got the what? You don't have the British, but the British had the biggest navy at that time. There's no British. Oh, apparently the British didn't have a navy at that time, even though it was the biggest navy in the world in World War I up to World War II. But the second biggest navy's there, which is the Germans. What, they're not there either? Really? Are you sure? What, the fucking Bismarck and all, they're not there? Apparently the Germans had no navy either at that time. So we have the Russian Navy's in. Is that the Russian? Yeah, the Russian Navy's in. Yeah, the Great Russian Fleet of I don't know. They're in. Yeah, the Russians. The Russians are in. The Americans are in, obviously, and the Japanese are in. So the two biggest navies in the world weren't in. Yeah, good. They're coming apparently. Yes. So is Christmas. So you've got Russia, Japan, and America. And you can choose to be part of any of those navies. And what you do, you're given the basic tier 1 ship, which is a rubber dinghy with a catapult on it, essentially. And you head off into a multiplayer battle, where it's either versus, or you can do a co-op battle where it's all players versus the AI. And it looks great. And you control your ship with WASD or whatever, TGFH if you're a pro, and you fire your pop gun at other ships. You have armor piercing and high explosive shells. What I can tell you is this: the combat is great fun. It's really good fun. Once you know the range of your guns, then it's just dead easy to play, and it's really good fun because the graphics is good, the sound's great. I mean, the noise of the guns when you fire them and you see the shockwave ripple across the water, it's just fucking great. And there hasn't been any games like this for years. I mean, the last time I played a Navy game was Silent Service on the Commodore 64 or the Amiga. I can't even remember, it was a long time ago. So this was a welcome breath of fresh air from all the other types of games out there, and it's really good fun, and I'm having a blast in it. As you level up your ship, you can unlock new propulsion like engines, a gun fire control system, new battery, like, I don't mean like a never ready battery or a Duracell, I mean like a gun battery, hull, and things like that. And you have to research them first, and after you've researched them, you then use your XP to research them, and then use the money that you earn through each battle to buy them. Everybody starts off with a cruiser, but after you've unlocked the first 3 cruisers, you can either head over into battleships or you can head into destroyers. If you head into battleships, you can then head into aircraft carriers. So that's the way that it works, and it goes all the way up from tier 1 right up to tier 10 to the really big fucking ships. And the battles aren't even, which is a good thing, because when you start, I think you can have up to 2 tiers either side of you when you join a battle, which is a nice touch, because that means there's going to be some ships that you see that you just want to keep away from, which is realistic, because during the war you actually would come across big ships like the Bismarck, and you'd be, well, obviously the Germans aren't in this, are they? Yeah. But yeah, you would come across big fearsome ships. I mean, we had the Hood. The British had the Hood, which was a huge fucking battleship. And there's the Hakamatawata Hatamoto, which was one of Japan's most feared fucking destroyers. So you've got all these big ships that you have to be careful of. So the ship classes are, you've got cruisers, which is like a jack of all trades, master of none. You've got the destroyers, which are torpedo ships, which fire. They've got light guns on them, but they've also got torpedoes, which you really have to be careful of, because a couple of torpedo hits will sink anything. So you've got to be really, really careful of that. And I like the torpedoes. A lot of people are crying that they should be nerfed, but it's great if you keep an eye on the water. You can see them coming for you, and you've got to turn your ship to avoid. It's really good fun. You've also got the battleships, which are just fucking laden with heavy guns, huge range on them as well. And then you've got the aircraft carriers, which is probably the most boring one to play, because you just kind of sit in the corner, launch your aeroplanes, and you're playing an RTS from the top down perspective with the aircraft carriers. So I'm not really going to go into that much, but I'm having real fun with the cruisers and the battleships at the minute. But you can go in either way you want. Once you've done the first 3 ship unlocks, you can choose your direction of where you're going to go. So, and you can mix and match. You don't have to have all the Americans. You can own Japanese ships, Russian ships, and USA ships. There's also premium ships that you can buy for real money, which give a boost to XP and cash income. It pretty much works exactly the same way as World of Tanks. It does get a bit boring after a while, because you're doing the same thing over and over again. The maps aren't exactly massive. The battles tend to go pretty much the same way over and over again, and you find that after an hour you're like, yeah, okay, can't be asked anymore, and then you stop playing. At least that's me anyway, but I'll come back to it and play another hour, maybe a couple of days later, and that's the way it is. But it's a free game. You don't have to spend a penny on this, and that's why I'm promoting it, because it's something for people to do who maybe don't have a lot of surplus cash. It's a really good game, runs brilliant, looks brilliant, and it's good fun to kill a couple of hours on. So there you go. World of Tanks is not this game. This is World of Warships, Mac, you prick. It's World of Warships. Yay!